Some nights disappear the moment they're over. Others stay with you. Not because anything dramatic happened, but because something small got under your skin and never really left. This was one of those nights. It was late, past the busy hours, the kind of night where the road feels wider because there's almost nobody on it. No rush, no noise, just long roads of dark and the hum you stop noticing after a while. I'd been driving steady, same speed, same lane, mind drifting between nothing in particular and old thoughts that showed up when everything else goes quiet. I pulled into a stop I've been to more times than I can count. Same lights, same smell of fuel and coffee, same quiet movement of people doing their own thing without really looking at each other. Nothing about the night felt important. That's why it surprised me when it stayed with me. Inside, there was an older guy standing off to the side near the counter. Not loud, not in a hurry, just still. He had that look people get when they're waiting, but not for anything specific. Hands in his pockets, shoulders slightly slouched, staring at nothing in particular. We exchanged a few words, the kind you exchange automatically. How's it going? All right. Long night. He nodded. Didn't say much else. Then, almost as an afterthought, he said, "Feels like the nights are quieter than they used to be." I nodded and paid, not thinking much of it at the time. And that should have been the end of it. I got back on the road. Same lane, same rhythm. But about 20 minutes later, that sentence came back. The nights are quieter than they used to be. Not sad, not dramatic, just observant. And that's when I realized why it stuck. He wasn't talking about noise. He was talking about people. I started thinking about how many nights I've spent around people without really being with anyone. How many conversations stop at the surface because nobody wants to slow down long enough to go deeper. We're all moving, all busy, all tired. And somewhere along the way, we stopped, noticing how quiet that makes things feel. That guy wasn't lonely in a loud way. He was lonely in a quiet, polite, almost invisible way. And I realized how easy it is to miss that. That hit closer than I expected, because I've lived a lot of life surrounded by movement. Miles, work, schedules, responsibility. And it's easy to confuse motion with connection. Easy to think you're fine because you're functioning. But standing there earlier and replaying it later made me realize how many moments I probably brushed past without meaning to. Not because I don't care, because I didn't slow down enough to notice. That night stayed with me because it reminded me that some people don't need conversation. They need acknowledgement. They need to feel like their presence registers, even briefly. Most meaningful moments don't come with emotion or urgency. They come quietly. They blend in. They wait to see if you'll catch them. And most of the time, we don't. I still think about that night. Not because anything big happened, but because something honest slipped through without asking for attention. Some nights fade. Others stay. Because they show you something you didn't realize. You stopped noticing.